Hello and very welcome everyone to this session of the current affairs. Today we are going to learn the current affairs of 20th of May 2024. So let's start and see that what are the things we can learn from this day and what are the things we can update in our notebooks. So before we start, these are the topics I got covered for you in this session. So I've got international news, some national news for you. Then I've got some banking finance news, sports news, important days, ranks and reports, appointments and resignations, news, summary. So basically, we are going to talk all of about them one by one. Before we start, the images used in our slide deck are for educational purpose only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this deck and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. Okay, so first news that we have today with us is China sanction US defense firms over Taiwan arms sales. So China has imposed sanction on Boeing and two other US defense companies. So the sanctions are in response to their involvement in arms sales to Taiwan. So basically, China has some particular issues with Taiwan, as particularly China takes the things like that Taiwan is particularly the territory of China. But as we know, that Taiwan always says that it is a separate territory and always demands for a particular recognition as a sovereign state. And now China has put sanctions on US defense firms. Some defense firms of US are found to be supplying the defense equipments to Taiwan. So for that purpose, China has put sanction on USA. So the sanction is done on the Boeing. Boeing is a very famous company of aerospace and defense. So on that company, China has sanctioned some particular things and two other defense companies as well. So the sanctions are in response to their involvement in arms sales to Taiwan. The announcement coincided with Taiwan's presidential inauguration. This move underscores the ongoing tensions in the region. So basically, what is happening here, as the Taiwan is having their presidential inauguration elections, and for that purpose, China who does not want anyone to intervene in that, because any kind of involvement of any particular state from outside China or Taiwan would be like this, that they want to make the ideology of that particular state into their ways, and China doesn't want that. China doesn't want that particularly Taiwan would be a kind of a rebel or a kind of a state that always wants separation from China. So that is why this particular thing is happening here. And particularly if we talk about China, so China has introduced sanctions on defense companies from USA currently. If we talk about USA, so currently the 47th president of USA was elected, and he will be Donald Trump. He will take oath in January, and apart from him, he will be the 47th president of USA, particularly at this time. Last, he was a 45th president two terms back. And apart from him, Jinping is the president of China currently. Former Indian Army officer killed in Gaza attack. So, Colonel retired Vaibhav Anil Kale, a former Indian Army officer, was killed in Gaza. So, what is happening here, guys? As you know, that last year, 7th of October, Hamas terrorist group, they attacked on the Israel, and particularly during the time when the people of Israel were celebrating the festivals on Saturday. So after that, Israel took the particular things into their hand and they starts killing a lot of terrorists and all other particular type of attacks on Gaza Strip. In that purpose, there is a particular force that is called UN Peacekeeping Force. The purpose of UN Peacekeeping Force is to create peace in these type of areas, conflicted areas, so that the particular area would be managed good and would be done to peace. Now, under that, Mr. Anil Kale, Vaibhav Anil Kale, he has been deployed at this particular place under the UN Peacekeeping Force. And particularly during the attack that was done on Gaza Strip, he was killed. So he was serving as the staff member of United Nations Department of Safety and Security under United Nations Peacekeeping Force. Incident occurred on 13th May 2024 in Rafah, Gaza. This marks the first international casualty since the latest escalation of hostilities between Israel and Hamas. So do remember this thing, that former Indian Army officer killed in Gaza attack, and the name was Colonel retired Vaibhav Anil Kale. GDP growth rate likely to be 6.7% in quarter 4, around 7% in financial year 24. So India Rating and Research projects a GDP growth rate of 6.7% for quarter 4. Overall GDP growth for financial year 24 is expected to be around 7%. Indian economy showed robust growth in the first 3 quarters of financial year 24. Official GDP numbers for quarter 4 and provisional estimates for financial year 24 will be released on 31st of May. So do remember this thing, that GDP growth rate likely to be 6.7% in quarter 4 according to the Indra rating. So first of all, we talk about the ratings. It is given by the companies that are associated with the auditing and research purpose. Now, under that, if we talk about first of all the RBI has forecasted it to be 7 to 7.2. Goldman Sachs has forecasted it to be around 6.8, and some other companies have said to be around 6.6 to 6.8. And now, particularly Indra, that is India Rating and Research, they have projected the GDP growth to be 6.7%. The overall GDP growth for financial year 24 is expected to be around 7%. Indian economy showed robust growth in the first 3 quarters of quarter financial year 24. Official GDP numbers for quarter 4 and provisional estimates for financial year 24 will be released on 31st May. So do remember that GDP growth forecasted by Indra is to be 6.7% for the quarter 4. SBI Generals unveils surety bond beam for infrastructure projects. So recently, SBI General Insurance has launched a new product called Surety Bond Bima. This product aims to support infrastructure development. It provides security arrangement for infrastructure projects. The initiative is the part of SBI efforts to bolster the infrastructure sector. So first of all, you need to understand that what are bonds or security bonds. So security bond is a kind of a agreement that is happened between the government and a bank, and in the average of be taking some particular loan. So when when the government take loan from the bank like RBI, so they provide a particular agreement in which is known as a security bond, and it is very necessary for all the banks, all the commercial banks and all the banks who are working in the banking sectors, that they should invest some percentage into the particularly the security bonds of their total money. Why this particular type of thing is used by the RBI? So that at the time of requirement, they can control the deflation and inflation in the country. How they can control the deflation and inflation? By that, as soon as they particularly decrease or increase the percentage that will affect the money that the bank has, and that is indirectly affect the money that they will give to the people, and the percentage they charge from the people on the loans, on the different type of loans. So for that purpose, and that is how the RBI can control the deflation and inflation in the market. So for that purpose, SBI General unveils surety bond bima for infrastructure projects. IRDAI lowers solvency requirement and removes exposure limit for surety bonds. So Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India revised regulation for surety bonds. So insurance regulatory, they have particularly issued the surety bonds, and they have revised the regulations for them. Solvency requirement have been lowered to make surety insurance more accessible. The exposure limit for surety bonds has been removed. These changes are expected to encourage more insurers to participate in the market. So a particular type of surety bond, some regulations have been removed, and some solvency requirement and remove exposure limit. So the purpose behind all of this is that so that the new people and new particular investors will be there to invest into the surety bond market. So remember, IRDAI, they have lowered the solvency requirement. RXIL Trades platform surpasses INR 1 trillion in MSME invoice financing. RXIL's trade receivables discounting system platform has achieved a significant milestone. The platform has facilitated financing of over 50 lakh voices worth 1 lakh crore. This milestone highlights the platform role in providing working capital financing to MSMEs. What are MSMEs? The micro, small, medium enterprises are called MSMEs, and particularly the development of these type of enterprise or industries is very important. Why is it very important? Because it will provide employment to the people, and that will also have help in the growth of the country's economy, and that is also at the remote areas, the rural areas as well. So RxIL trade receivable discounting system platform has achieved a significant milestone. The platform has facilitated financing over 50 lakh invoices. MSME sector contributes over 30% of India's GDP and employs approximately 12 crore people. So as I said, that it is very important to take care of MSMEs always. So RxIL TREDS platform surpasses 1 trillion rupees in MSME invoice financing. Fusion Microfinance secures $25 million loan from US International DFC. Fusion Microfinance has secured a $25 million loan from US International Development Finance Corporation. The loan will primarily focus on empowering rural women entrepreneurs. An initial disbursement of $20 million is part of an 8-year loan. The fund aims to enhance business operations, advance financial inclusion efforts. So do remember that Fusion Microfinance secures $25 million loan from US International DFC. SEBI's amendments to load R regulations, enhancing market capitalization computation. So SEBI has introduced amendments to its listing obligations and disclosure requirement regulations. Amendment focus on the computation of market capitalization for listed companies. New criteria for applicability have been established. A defined period for calculating average market capitalization has been set. So do remember SEBI's amendments to road air regulations and hence market capitalization computation. Ronaldo tops Forbes list of highest paid athlete again. So if we talk about India, then that would be Virat Kohli. And if we talk about the world's highest paid athlete, then that is Mr. Ronaldo. So Cristiano Ronaldo, the footballer from Portugal, has topped the Forbes list of the world's highest paid athletes. His significant earnings in Saudi Arabia have propelled him to this position. This is the fourth time Ronaldo has secured a top spot. Despite nearing the twilight of his career, he continues to earn substantial income. So basically, Cristiano Ronaldo, is a very famous footballer from Portugal, and sometimes the fans, particularly, always compete between Portugal and Messi. We all know. So in that particular case, for the fourth time consecutively, this has been said that Ronaldo has topped the Forbes list of the highest paid athletes once again. And still, when he's on the twilight of his career, that means like somewhere around in these years, he will be going to be retired. And still, he is the highest paid athlete all over the world. So remember, Forbes list highest paid athlete, that is Ronaldo. World Bee Day 2024. So World Bee Day is observed on 20th May, marking the birth anniversary of Anton Jansa. The day was established by United Nations in 2017. The theme for this day is Be Engaged with Youth, emphasizing youth involvement in bee conservation. The day highlights the critical role of bees in food security, biodiversity, and sustainable agriculture. And also, when we are talking about the bees, so we are talking about three things. One is the food security and biodiversity. Biodiversity is very important, guys, because if you have heard about pollination, so bees are those particular species or particular organisms that are the basic fundamentals behind the transfer of pollens from one place to another, more than birds. So that is because the bees are very important for the biodiversity, and that is why this day is dedicated to them. So do remember, World Bee Day is observed on 20th May. Mukesh Ambani, Gautam Adani secure positions among the world's top 15 super rich. So Mukesh Ambani and Gautam Adani have made it to the top 15 of the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. So recently, Mr. Adani was marked to be the richest Asian person, and 11th at the global level. Now, Mukesh Ambani, Gautam Adani have made it to the top 15 of the billionaires index all over the world. This is the significant achievement, especially for Gautam Adani, who reclaimed his position. All individuals in the top 15 have net worth of 100 billion or more. Gautam Adani had previously lost his position due to short selling in his company's stocks. So you must remember the scenario of Hindenburg, that how Hindenburg, for after short selling some shares, they have got their profit, but Gautam Adani, they have particularly lost a lump amount of money in that particular thing. So that is because his position was deteriorated, but now again he retained his position and is in the top 15 billionaires of the world. RBI approves appointment of Pradeep Natarajan as the IDFC First Bank whole-time director. So recently, one thing I need to add, that LIC, the Life Insurance Corporation, they have particularly increased their stake in two companies. One is the Maharashtra Bank and the other one is the IDFC First Bank. So right now, RBI, the highest regulatory body of banking in our country, that was formed in 1934, they have particularly appointed Pradeep Natarajan as the whole-time director of the IDFC First Bank. He will serve as the whole-time director on the board of IDFC First Bank. The appointment is for the tenure of 3 years. This marks significant development for the private sector lender. So do you remember who is the director of IDFC First Bank currently? So that is Mr. Pradeep Natarajan. So let's revise, guys, that what we have learned so far in this session. So first of all, China has sanctioned US defense firms over Taiwan arms sales. Former Indian Army officer killed in Gaza attack. GDP growth rate likely to be 6.7% in quarter 4, around 7% in financial year 24. RBI General unveils security bond bima for infrastructure projects. IRDAI lowers solvency requirement and removes exposure limit for surety bonds. RXIL's trades platform surpasses INR 1 trillion in MSME invoice financing. Fusion Microfinance secures $25 million loan from US International DFC. SEBI amendments to LODR regulations enhancing market capitalization computation. Now in sports news, we got Ronaldo tops Forbes list of highest paid athletes once again for the fourth time. World Bee Day 2024 is being observed to commemorate, to particularly observe or create awareness regarding the importance of bees in our biodiversity. Mukesh Ambani, Gautam Adani secure the position among the world's top 15 super rich. RBI approves appointment of Pradeep Natarajan as the IDFC First Bank whole-time director. So guys, that's it in this session. I hope you all learned a lot of things and gained a lot of knowledge in this particular session. We will meet once again in next session, in which we will take care of the things we want to and update our notes. So till then, take care everyone. See you soon and bye bye.